UFC right back in business this Saturday as they bringing us one of, if not the most, marvelous card of the year. Top to bottom, this card is absolutely stacked and it's headlined by probably the best and most entertaining champion we currently have in the sport, Alexander Volkanovski. Now, I want to start by once again apologizing to Volkanovski because prior to his last matchup against Islam, I made the mistake of doubting him. And even though he did lose the fight, he lost, bro. He lost. He proved to me that regardless of the circumstances, I should never, ever doubt him. And I'm not doing so in this matchup against Yair Rodriguez. Even so, while my head is telling me Volk is probably going to end up mushing him for the better part of 25 minutes, it's a lot about Yair and his game that presents this strong sense of danger. On the feet, he's one of the most dangerous fighters in the division, as well as being one of the most unpredictable in the entirety of the UFC, to be honest. He's not a super frequent mover for real. He actually kind of plies around more than you would think. But his strikes come at you with stupid speed and velocity. And also going back to that unpredictability, he mixes up his targets very well. He's somebody that's constantly improved over the years in every aspect of his game, specifically his ground game. Obviously, that Frankie Edgar fight was very eye-opening, but that was an extremely long time ago, and he's shown that he's gotten better off his back. He ain't elite or nothing, but a lot better than what he used to be. And I think the biggest thing that I've noticed from him specifically with that Max Holloway fight is that he is a true student of the game. The tape to succeed against Max Holloway is out. We've seen only a few certain people have actual success against Max Holloway throughout his career. And there's very certain ways that you can counteract his style. Now, even though Yair did end up losing the fight, it was a very competitive one, and we saw him bite from multiple different sources in order for him to have such a good performance against Max. So knowing for a fact that he takes notes of a fighter's tendencies, and he's obviously got a lot of skills in his own toolbox, I can see him catching Volkanovski with a head kick that he so frequently only blocks with one hand. Or catching Volk with a knee, being that he is very short, and he does duck his head quite often. Volk also does like to lead with his head when he throws blitzing, shifting combinations forward. We could end up seeing knees, uppercuts, just anything to intercept them kind of movements. But the thing about Volkanovski is that he has an extremely high IQ, and he always shows to have an extensive understanding of the fighter that he's fighting and tends to game plan as such. Now, fighting Yair, he knows he's dealing with somebody unpredictable, somebody with a lot of speed, and I just have a feeling he'll continue to adjust the prior shortcomings in his game that we've seen to erase any advantage Yair Rodriguez has. I'm just saying that there is a strong sense of danger with Yair Rodriguez. Now, with that being said, I do still believe that he gets decimated. I honestly think Volk's own speed, the feints, the leg kicks. Kickers don't like getting kicked, and Yair frequently hasn't been kicked in his career. And I think at least the threat of mixing in takedowns, regardless if he gets them or not, will do Volk a lot of favors in trying to slow down and more so overload Yair. I don't know. We'll see though. Last I seen, Volk was like a 3-1 favorite or something like that. And I understand why. But going against somebody like Yair who can catch you at any point in time, evidenced by his Korean Zombie fight, and who's shown the tools to take advantage of things that we've seen from Volk in the past, it's just like, you know? Either way, I got Volk. Wouldn't be surprised if Yair stuns him, whether that means just a flash knockdown or he knocks him out, I don't know. But honestly, if Yair don't get that sudden stoppage, I actually think he gets bullied for the entire fight. And that directly leads me to what I believe to be the biggest pick'em on the card. Brandon Moreno versus Pantoja 7 is going to commence. And there's so many variables in a fight like this that I don't know what to think. Now, Pantoja's beat Moreno twice already. Obviously, they were both different fighters at those times, but still, there's a mental factor that you have to at least consider. Don't know how it'll affect Moreno, we'll see. Pantoja is an elite Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner, and while Brandon Moreno is solid in his own right, but with the way Pantoja been looking lately, he is moving forward and imposing his will on people. And we have seen Brandon Moreno get physically overpowered in fights, and Pantoja's one to do the same. But at the same time, Pantoja is extremely slow, at least in comparison to Moreno. And I do think Moreno is the better boxer, actually one of the most underrated boxers in the UFC. So it's like, I can see paths to victory for both. And I understand Pantoja is up 2 on Moreno, and I won't be surprised if he finds the early stoppage this Saturday, but I'm going to bank on the consistent improvement of Moreno, his true, I genuinely don't care if I obtain CTE kind of attitude, and his skill to overcome Pantoja and find a 3rd round stoppage. And I quickly have to speak on this murderer of a matchup, Robert Whittaker versus Dricus du Plessis. I respect du Plessis, man. You know, he sucks, but he's found his way to the top of one of the worst divisions in the UFC. And honestly, to me, I find it so inspiring every time I watch him fight because his technique is horrible. He seems to gas out in 3 minutes, but he always finds a way to get it done. Now, granted, he has fought and beat some bums, and now he's fighting arguably the best fighter in the division in Robert Whittaker. I know people going to dislike the video for me even saying that, but it's cool. I see no way he gets this done. Now, of course, he has a puncher's chance. And, I've never been truly comfortable with being willing to bet my living space on the winner of a fight. But this is the first time that I've been willing to bet the house on someone. And I truly believe Robert Whittaker massacres Dricus du Plessis. Now, I think the first round will be interesting because Dricus is going to do a lot of blitzing forward. He might be able to hit Rob a couple times, But outside of that blitz, I'm going to be honest, he ain't got nothing. His wrestling sucks. His striking technique blows. Robert Whittaker is faster in every regard. He's extremely well-rounded, better than Dricus at everything. I just don't see it. But, I'm rooting for him. I'm truly rooting for du Plessis to shock the world. I'd love it. I think Whittaker decimates him into a decision, though. And, there's some other fun fights on the card. Dana White is actively trying to send Dan Hooker into retirement going against Jalen Turner. I think he gets smashed. Bo Nichols on the card. Trayshawn Gore actually pulled out, and I completely forgot who replaced him, but I think Bo wins regardless. And also, Robbie Lawler's retirement fight is here to end off the prelims. Truly going to be an emotional event. Hopefully his last fight doesn't end with him being hornswoggled, but it very well may. Absolutely sensational card on paper, and I don't think there's a way it doesn't deliver. I'm truly excited.